If you've ever felt like you're just not cut out for sales, like maybe selling is for a certain kind of woman and you're just not her, I need you to stick around for the next 12 minutes. Because what I'm going to tell you is going to change how you see yourself, how you see selling, and honestly, how you see your entire business. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. The real reason sales feels hard has almost nothing to do with your skills. It has nothing to do with your offer and it has nothing to do with your audience size. The real reason sales feels hard for women entrepreneurs, it's an identity problem. And that's actually the best news you're going to hear all week, because identities can shift, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, let me describe something and you can tell me if this sounds familiar. You built your business because you're incredible at what you do. You're a coach, you're a service provider, a creative, a consultant, whatever your thing is, you're good at it. People tell you all the time, your clients get results and your work, it speaks for itself. But then comes the selling part and everything changes. You sit down to write a caption about your offer and suddenly the words won't come. You open your DMs to follow up with someone who showed interest last week and your thumb hovers over the keyboard for 10 minutes before you close the app. You know you should be talking about what you sell more often, but every time you try, there's this voice that says, you're being annoying, you're being too much, who are you to charge that? So you do what most women do. You post some more value content, you help some more people for free, you tell yourself, I'll sell next week when I feel ready, and the next week comes and the cycle repeats. I call this the winging it cycle. Post hope, maybe make one offer, feel weird, disappear for weeks, feel guilty, come back, repeat. Sound familiar? Here's what I want you to hear. That cycle is not happening because you're lazy. It's not happening because you don't want it enough. And it's not happening because you're bad at sales. It's happening because nobody ever taught you to sell. Think about that for a second. You were taught to create, you were taught to serve, you were taught to help, but nobody, not your parents, not your school, not the online business world, sat you down and said, here's how selling works, and here's a system on how to do it. Here's what you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and here's why each piece matters. Nobody gave you that. So you're building an airplane while flying it, wondering why you feel like you're about to crash every week. Now, here's where this gets interesting, because there's a reason you keep getting stuck in this same cycle, and it's not willpower. It's a problem. It's a loop. And I call it the identity behavior loop. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So it works like this. Your identity drives your behavior. Your behavior produces your results, and your results reinforce your identity. Okay? So if your identity, the deep down story you tell yourself about who you are, if that identity says, I'm not really a salesperson, then your behavior will reflect that. You will avoid selling. You'll soften your language. You'll apologize for your prices. You'll post value content instead of making offers, because value content feels safe and selling feels dangerous. And then your results will reflect that. Inconsistent income, feast or famine months, a growing audience that never converts. And then those results reinforce the original identity and your bank account. And you look at your bank account and you say, see, I knew I wasn't good at this. And that loop, it tightens. But here's the thing about the loops. They work in both directions. So if you can shift the identity, if you can go from I'm not a salesperson to I am a woman who sells with confidence on purpose every week, then your behavior changes. You show up differently, you speak differently, you follow up instead of ghosting, you don't make excuses. And when your behavior changes, your results change. And when your results change, your new identity gets reinforced, and the loop, it starts working for you instead of against you. This is why fake it till you make it doesn't work for sales, because faking it doesn't shift your identity. It just puts a mask over your old one, and the old identity is still running rampant underneath. So the moment selling gets uncomfortable, and it will, that mask comes off and you go back to softening, avoiding, and apologizing. What does work, though, is a decision backed by a system. You decide who you are, you build a structure that proves it to your brain, one action at a time, and that's not faking it. That's engineering your own transformation. So let me tell you the most counterintuitive thing I know about selling. Confidence doesn't come first, structure does. Every woman I work with says at the beginning, I just need to feel more confident and then I'll start selling consistently. And I tell them every single time, you have the order backwards. Confidence is not the prerequisite for selling. Confidence is the byproduct of selling. It shows up after you've done the thing enough times that your brain says, oh, we survived that. Actually, we did pretty good. Maybe we could do that again. But you can't get those reps without a system, because without a system, every sales action feels like this desperate decision. Should I post today? What should I say? Should I DM her? Am I being too pushy? Should I follow up? Oh, it's been 3 days. Is that too soon? You know what? That's completely exhausting. That's decision fatigue. And that's why most women burn out, disappear for weeks at a time. But when you have a rhythm, when Monday is for committing, Tuesdays for giving value, Wednesdays for deepening conversations, Thursdays for sharing proof, and Fridays for making the ask, selling doesn't require a decision anymore. It's just doing what you know to do. It's Tuesday, you create value. It's Friday, you make an offer. The system decides, and all you do is execute. And after 2 weeks of executing, something happens. You start to feel confident, not because someone told you you were confident, but your own actions gave you evidence that you are a woman who sells. And that identity behavior loop starts to work in your favor. Now, I have an entire framework for this. It's called the 5C Sales Framework, and it's the backbone of everything that I teach. The 5 pillars are clarity, connection, communication, consistency, and conversion. They're in that order for a reason. Each one builds on the last, and everyone maps a psychological principle that drives buyer behavior. Now, I'm going to go deeper into that framework in future videos, but today I want to give you a really quick win with pillar 1, which is clarity. Because if this one isn't dialed in, nothing works. Clarity is this: can you explain what you sell, who it's for, and the transformation it creates in one sentence? Not a paragraph, not a page of bullet points, one clear, specific sentence. And here's why this matters. Your buyer's brain is making split-second decisions about whether to pay attention to you. If your message is confusing, if she doesn't have clarification, she scrolls, she's gone. Confused buyers, they never buy, they leave. So here's the test. Say the sentence out loud right now. I help a specific person with a specific problem achieve a specific result through a specific method. For me, that's I help women entrepreneurs who are anxiety-driven go from non-selling to selling using a 5C framework. Clear, specific, I know exactly what the problem is and what the result is and how they get there. If you can't say yours clearly, that's not a failure. That's a starting point. And it's the first thing we work on, because everything else, your content, your DMs, your offers, your follow-up, comes from this sentence. Get this right, and the rest of the framework, it's a breeze. It gets 10 times easier. And by the way, if you just tried that exercise and your sentence felt muddy or you couldn't finish it, that's actually the most valuable thing that this video is going to give you, because now you know where to start. And you don't need a bigger audience. You don't need a better funnel. You need one clear sentence. You can start there. So let me bring this full circle for you. You clicked on this video because something in it resonated with the title, right? Maybe you've been telling yourself sales just aren't your thing. Maybe you've been in that winging it cycle for months or even a year. Maybe you're exhausted from posting and hoping and watching other women make sales, wondering why all along, what are they doing different? But here's what I know. They aren't doing anything different. They have a system, and that's it. They're not more talented than you. They're not more confident than you. They just have a rhythm that makes selling feel like second nature instead of a performance. And that's available to you too, starting today. Okay? You're not broken. You're not behind. You're a woman who was never taught to sell, and now you're learning. And that's not weakness. That's the beginning. Now, I created a free tool called the Weekly Sales Rhythm Planner. It maps out exactly what to do Monday through Friday, the specific actions, the timing, and the psychology behind each day. It's the same rhythm I teach inside my membership, and I'm giving it to you for free because I want you to feel what it's like to sell from structure instead of chaos. The link is in the description. You can download it, you can fill it out on a Sunday night, and run your first real sales week starting on a Monday. And if you want the full framework, all the pillars, the buyer psychology, the DM scripts, the weekly coaching, and a community of women who are doing this alongside you, I have Convert Her, which is my sales membership, and that's down in this description as well. But for now, I want you to download the planner, write your clarity sentence, decide right now who you're going to be this week. And I'll see you in the next video where I'm going to talk to you more about how to talk about your offer without sounding pushy or desperate, because that's the second piece of the puzzle. Don't miss that. I look forward to seeing you soon.